Alright. Hey guys, so today's video is a little different. As you can tell from the title, that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I haven't filmed a video in over a month now. And reason being is I've been kind of dealing with my mental health, especially the past 2 years, to be quite honest. In the last couple months, it's really affected kind of my motivation to put myself in front of a camera, and it's hard to act happy when you're not. First off, I don't want to come off as ungrateful or that, you know, I don't realize how lucky I am to be in a position that I am, all the blessings that I have been given because of you guys. So first and foremost, I want to just say that it's not that I'm ungrateful, and I don't want to ever come off like that. But I wanted to be honest with myself, and I want to be honest with you guys. So I guess I truly believe that everyone is fighting their own battles, and which is why I wanted to make this video in the first place. And I can't even count how many times I've wanted to film this video, and I couldn't film anything else because I wanted to film this video first, but I couldn't get myself to even film this video. And it was just a cycle, because if I'm going to be putting out content, I don't want to act like this isn't happening, because this is my life. This is the truth. I think that oftentimes we kind of really truly believe that if we looked a certain way, that if we had certain things, that if we were somewhere else or we were completely different people, we would be happier. And it's this constant vicious cycle of comparison and doubt in yourself and your worthiness. And depression is that it's so hard to describe what it feels. And I feel like if you don't have it, you can't really truly understand. And even if you do have it, you cannot compare how it feels for you and how it feels for someone else. Basically for the past 2 years, it's really been hard for me. I've had weeks of just sadness, and sadness that I couldn't even explain why I was sad. I would go days never leaving my bedroom, and it was no one's fault besides mine. And to kind of get myself, anytime I got myself out of my bedroom, I had to drink. I had to have something bring out emotions in me that I couldn't bring out in myself by intoxicating myself, by just finding some way to feel something. I guess depression is a lot of things, but for me it was numbness. It was deep feelings of sadness, isolation, the cycle of not wanting to be around other people, that I would just wake up at 10 in the morning and think, well, I don't want to deal with the day, so I'm going to sleep for another 4 hours, and have it be 3 o'clock and be like, well, you know, people will probably think I'm a complete hermit if I don't get my ass out of bed this morning. So I would do that because of the idea of what other people would think of me, not for myself. And I can't focus on anything. The past 2 years can't remember a lot that happens. I have no memory for certain things, and I can't explain why. And I knew what was happening because honestly the closest people in my life have depression, and it is so painful to see people that have so much worth completely doubt themselves to the point where they're questioning whether they should live or not. And for me, I was always that person that felt like I could try to understand what they feel like and be that strength for them and help them through that. But for this time, right now in my life, I can't even be that for myself, and I can't explain why. And I guess that's why I wanted to make this video too, because I feel like when you have depression or mental illness, you just want to end this numbness. You want to end that feeling. And that's how bad it gets. And it's just, I guess I just want to validate that for people that may feel like they're alone in the way that they feel, and that feeling of emptiness and numbness and worthlessness, because that is how strong and valid this illness, it is an illness. And the leading cause of death for 17 to 28-year-olds is suicide. The number one death is suicide. This is for real. I know that there is a difference between sadness and depression, and that doesn't invalidate sadness, but depression is a mental illness, and it is such a devastating one. It is such a selfish, self-deprecating disease. So I guess for me, I never really wanted to admit that I had this, even though I kind of knew I did because I've seen it around me in my life before. But it got to the point where I was sleeping more than I was awake. I was avoiding anything that would make myself feel better because I didn't even want to feel better. I had very, very dark thoughts and actions. And that's really hard for me to admit, because I literally haven't admitted that to the closest people in my life, because I don't want them to worry, and I hate being this vulnerable, but I have to remind myself that I do have a responsibility as someone whose job it is to post videos and post photos of this life I have, and not ever admit what it's actually like. Like, I do have these great moments, but really behind the scenes, like, I need to be honest with you guys. Those are the highlights, and even if those are masks. And I don't want to, say everything is shitty, because I do have moments of happiness. But there's an overwhelming amount of times and duration of times where I felt nothing. Basically went and seeked out help by a medical professional, I think a month ago now. And I was diagnosed with severe clinical depression, which I, in my own soul, and like Brendan, my boyfriend, he's helped me so much through this. And I knew I had it, but I guess being diagnosed with it and having that be my reality was really, really hard to accept, and it still is. And every now and then it hits me, because I'm like, I wasn't always like this. And it fucking sucks. And I don't want this feeling upon anyone, and the reality is, it is so common. For me, it sucks knowing other people have it, but it helps me realize that I'm not alone in this. And it's really just an isolating cycle, and it's caused by a lot of things. It's genetic. It can be caused by changes in your life. That's why a lot of times it happens late teenage, early 20s, because a lot of things are happening in your life. You're living on your own for the first time and dealing with things you never had to deal with on your own, and the reality isn't always that great, and it's really hard, and dealing with it is really hard. I had to take a little break, and you get into this dark place where you think that no one will care, but you have to remember that people care about you. Losing you is going to be so traumatic for people that, care for you, and it's just, it's so blinding to think that they won't. And just having a parent have to experience their child's death is something that should never happen. And you have to remember that is what would happen. And maybe I don't care about how I feel right now, but I don't want I don't want my mom to go through that. You know, people really close to me. I want to watch, you know, my little siblings grow up. I don't want them the rest of their life thinking, if only Vivian was here, and having that sadness in their heart in moments they should be happy because of my selfishness. Constantly reminding yourself that this will pass and allowing itself to pass, because what you're feeling is not permanent. Don't confuse this feeling, this season of sadness for a lifetime. Where you are now is not where you were 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You are a completely different person. You have to think ahead and really understand that this is not how it's always going to be, and this feeling is not how you're always going to feel. And don't let that be your reality, because it doesn't have to be, and it's not. I guess for me, accepting that I had depression is definitely a huge step in dealing with it. It has definitely made me realize it as it's happening, and realizing that this is the depression speaking, this isn't me. And so for me, kind of hitting that switch and realizing that when I have a negative thought, I can make it a positive is something that I used to do without even thinking, but now I have to kind of force myself to. But it is something that my therapist has definitely been working on with me, and I would say it does help. It's something better than nothing. And I guess for people that don't have depression that are watching this, it's really, really hard to understand. But I guess from what you can do is make sure that you check on your friends, and especially your strongest friends. Depression has many masks, and it can be very, very good disguises. And the pain is so real, it's literally disabling. It makes you like question your worth as a human being, and that in itself I think is nothing that anyone should ever question. I guess I wish I was sitting here filming this saying that I've overcame depression, that's why I'm filming this, and it's not. I'm dealing with it. I just wanted to be someone that could help anyone feel less alone. And kind of the things that I tell myself to help me through it. I truly believe that life has so much to offer. There are so many things, feelings, places, experiences, people that you have not even brushed the surface of, that you have not experienced your best days of your life yet. And that time is constant. Time is reliable. And with time comes change. Change is constant. What you're feeling now is not permanent. I feel like we oftentimes think that this feeling we're feeling right now will never ever go away. But nothing is the same. Everything always changes. So overall, I mean, at the end, you are really the only person that can take control of what you want to do with what you're going through. But that doesn't mean you have to go through it alone. And I have a hard time asking for help. I don't want pity. I don't want people feel bad for me. The reality is like, I cannot. I've done that for a while, and if anything, it made it so much worse because I felt so alone. And it doesn't mean you have to tell everyone what's going in your, like, what's happening. It's something that I understand is really, really hard to talk about. But going through it alone is the worst thing that you can do. Surround yourself with people that bring out the best in you, that understands you and makes you better. Find things and animals and nature and hobbies that, you know, bring out even just a little bit of happiness or contentment. Not even happiness, just being okay. For me, it was being creative. I've always been a very introverted person. Not that I can't talk to people, I just don't prefer to be in very crowded situations, surround myself with a lot of people. It's very exhausting for me, honestly. And for some people, that is what you need. Find what you need. And for me, it was painting and spending hours in creating something and listening to music without having to worry about what other people thought about me, what I was doing, and being able to have a final product and knowing that I was productive that day. Even if I never left the house, I created something. And for me, reading is also very therapeutic because I feel like I did something with my day, but it didn't require a whole bunch of energy, because when you have depression, you are so tired. You are so exhausted. Doing the little things, just going through your day-to-day routine is so hard. But those little things can really build you up to being where you want to be and creating those habits and thinking positively. And seek help, be honest, be vulnerable. Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point, but I just really needed to say something. And I don't even know if any of this made any sense. I feel like I've been rambling on, but I needed to do this. And I was about to say I'm sorry for, people may have disappointed by opening up about this. But if this can help anyone understand themselves through what they're going through and making you feel like what you're feeling is real and that you're not alone, that's honestly, that's the point of this. So, and keep finding the little things that make me happy, the simple things, and realizing that life isn't about finding validation in other people, depending on other people's opinions. It's finding what your purpose is, and that can be, little things like getting up in the morning, actually doing something. It could be getting promoted, it can be getting hired. It doesn't have to be this huge monumental feat. It's the steps that you take within your life and the little things, those accomplishments, that I think that we need to kind of focus on, look forward to, and not being overwhelmed with what we should be, where we should be, but just working on ourselves and finding happiness in those moments. I have a lot going on. I'm moving right now, so there'll be more vlogs on the channel with that and everything. And I don't know, let me know in the comments if this video helped you at all, if you like these types of videos. I needed to do this whether or not, but I hope that it made some sense. But as always, thank you guys so much for your support and understanding and patience with me and uploading. I have not been where I want to be, and it's something I'm working on, like I said, but I wanted to be honest with you guys about kind of why and what's been happening. But alright guys, I feel better talking about it, honestly. It's kind of weird how that works. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and hope you're having a wonderful day.